ॐ ॐ सहनां भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. The topic that we are looking at now is on the aggressive and the passive. I will give you all a overall understanding of this topic before we get on to the questions. We'll look at the topic and get the basics, and then we will get into the actual questions. The application of this topic, aggressive and passive, is both external and internal. You can apply this topic externally, and that's the scope of it as far as the book is concerned. In the book, what has been given is when you're facing the society, you see certain. You can bring down this slide. Bring it down. I meaning I don't want any slide. I said I'll take the questions later. Oh. Well, I want to see you all. Others, I'm seeing some words on the screen. So, somebody else came for appointment yesterday. I was telling them I want to meet you all, but nobody wants to meet me. You know. So the aggressive and the passive. Now, what happens in this thing is in the book the scope of it is in terms of the external application. When there's corruption in the society, now how do you deal with that? That's the scope of it. It is equally important to that you can apply it internally as well. In other words, to for spiritual development, you have to be an aggressively good person. Unless you're aggressively good, you can't grow spiritually. So, what is passive nature? A passive nature is a nature where a person goes along with the society, goes along with others. The person wants to please others, wants to be in others' good books. A passive person is a person who doesn't think independently, doesn't take any action which goes against the grain of the society. They just want to go along with everything. This is a passive nature, a desire to belong, a desire to fit in with others, a fear of being on your own. You understand? So, all these things are there for a passive person. So the passive person is consumed by all these emotions constantly. He doesn't know how to resolve these emotions. Passivity can be good or bad. A passively bad person is one who happens to come across the bad principles and goes along with it. A person who is born to parents who are drunk, who are on drugs, and he's in a council estate where the person sees drugs from day one, from the day at time he's born. Such a person grows into that. He also starts dealing with drugs. It's a normal thing for that person. It's just a means of living for that person. He doesn't see it as being any bad. Others see it as bad. For that person it is normal. So passively bad person does not see it as bad. He just sees it as a normal thing. is the psychology is nobody will admit that they are doing something bad. Even the worst criminals, if you ask them, they will justify it. You know, that's why, like the terrorists, you see, they have to justify that it is all for God. It's God's plan that we're executing. We are only executing God's plan. They have to justify it. They will never say, no, 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 we're negative. We want to destroy everybody. Nobody will admit that they are bad, that they're criminal. Now, passive good person is is interesting that construction passively good. Again, the passive good person does not understand that they're doing something good. They're mechanically following that procedure. They're mechanically following those principles. They happen to be born in a society where they're good values. They happen to be born in a family which has good values. They just take to that. But they are not understanding that this is a better way and that is a bad way. There's no analysis of that. In other words, they could very well be bad. A passive good person could have very well been a passively bad person. You understand? It just so happens they're born into a good environment. So therefore, you can't really appreciate a passively good person. They've not put in any effort. I see there was a person who was very devoted to God, and he was very pious, did his rituals, went to temples, everything. He's so devoted, so devoted. And then the couple, in fact, not only the person, both of them, the couple, they were so devoted. They lost their son. They had one son. They lost the son. The son died when he was about 16 or something. The son died. After that, they hated God. They said, "What have you done? You took away a child, the only child that we have. You've taken the child away." They hated God. They never went anywhere near the temple thereafter. That's the thing. See, a passive person gets influenced by the emotion. Or a powerful emotion comes, it can upset the passive person. They're following certain principles, but they've not thought through it. One strong incident like that can shake you completely. Aggressive person. The word aggressive also has a connotation of being violent. Now, it's nothing to do with violence. It is the word aggressive here is just the fact that you are dynamic. So instead of the word aggressive, you could use the word dynamic. The person is dynamic. The person is applying themselves in every situation. And dynamism requires effort. Aggressive person puts in a lot of effort. Passive person doesn't put in effort. And the effort here we're talking about is the effort to think. The effort to think is greater than the effort to feel, is greater than the effort to act. The moment you hear effort, what do you think? Physically, you understand, going around doing duties. That's what we think. That's easy. Physical activity is very easy. Any day, see, the best relaxation is physical activity. Yeah, yeah. That's what. See, what do people do? Holiday, this thing. They go skiing. They're active the whole weekend, and they say, "Oh, we're so relaxed." Why are they relaxed? Mentally, they're not applying themselves. So they're active. Even when people go on holidays, they are active. It's not the activity which is the problem. Activity is relaxing. In fact, activity is nice. The intellectual effort that is strainful. Intellectual effort is strainful. It tires you. more intellectual effort you make, you get tired. Like, for example, all of you wake up early morning, you study, you understand. By noon, you all are so tired. You understand that you really wish you could follow the academy schedule in that respect. Have a nap in the afternoon, nice nap you can have. So that, which is a fact, because you're tired. You be that intellectual effort. Now the aggressive person applies themselves, keeps applying themselves in every situation. Therefore, how should we practice becoming aggressive is we have to apply ourselves in every situation. Every single meeting, see, for example, at work, you will be okay. I'll give my own example. See, suppose I've got classes to conduct now. With my eyes closed, I know what are the verses in Atma Bodha this morning. Atma Bodha's class, verses 29 to 32. I know the verses. Blindfold, I can take it, but I don't do that. Every class I prepare. So even this class, I make sure I ask them, please upload the questions faster so I can go and take a look at it. So I go through the questions, whatever, just an idea of what it is. That preparation, like that at work, you all can also wing it. You understand? You can go into a meeting, you can do it, you know it, but don't do that. Prepare, prepare. That application that you make, that preparation that you make, that will help you to develop the intellect. Every client you're going to meet, just preparation means give it a thought. What is it you're going to this thing? See, surgery, operation, you all have done so many times, doctors. They know blindfolded they can do it. But you take a few minutes to sit down and think, okay, this is the thing, this is the thing, whatever. So the more you go over it again and again and apply yourself, that helps to reflect, that helps to think, to develop the intellect. That's what the aggressive person does. Aggressive person scores over the passive person. Every situation the person applies. Passive person is lazy. In that regard, is lazy, intellectually lazy. Aggressiveness can be bad or good, which is what many of the questions are based on, that distinction between aggressive bad and aggressive good. Aggressive bad, aggressive good. Now, the main difference is when we develop the intellect, what is developing the intellect? Developing the intellect consists of two aspects. First is the power of reasoning. Second is value systems. An aggressively bad person has a faulty intellect. The aggressive bad person's intellect is faulty. The aggressive good person's intellect is the right intellect. That is a perfect intellect. Now, why? Because an aggressive bad person has power of reasoning but has no values. It's a lopsided intellect. It's not a proper, well developed intellect. But for uh, sort of saying aggressive, good, aggressive, bad, we say it, but actually it's not equal. Aggressive, bad person is not equal to an aggressively good person. Aggressive, bad intellect is not equal to aggressive, good intellect. It's a faulty intellect. Your values are not there. Aggressive good has both reasoning and values. That's what you'll find in the world. People who could probably reason, but they may not have values. Rare to find a person who has both values and reason. And those who have values, many times they don't have reason. They can't reason. So it's all because of God. God is there to take care of us. They have good values and all that, but they don't apply themselves. They don't understand how it works. Very passive. Now, when you are operating in the society, the equation is between, see, when you're meeting another person, when you're interacting with another person, whoever is more aggressively good will get the better of the other. It's relative. Let's say you are 20% aggressively good. If you're 20% aggressively good, you will get the better of somebody who's 10% aggressively good. But somebody else who's 40%, 50% aggressively good, you can't. They will overpower you. They will supersede you. That proportion varies. Whoever is more aggressively good, in fact, whoever is more aggressive, even forget about goodness. Anybody who's more aggressive will be the person who will overpower in that situation. Whoever uses intellect more. In other words, see, suppose a person is manipulative. uh, they don't have any big high intellect and all that. But the very fact that they're very manipulative, they know your weakness. You understand? They use that in the situation. And you're not aware of it, that that person is doing it. That's why that person gets the better of you in that situation. It's all relative. When you feel anybody has got the better of you in any situation, just remind yourself of this. In that situation, that person has applied the intellect better than me. I've got to get back to that. So it's a fight between your intellect and others' intellect. So I need to strengthen my intellect and come back. Next time I come back, I have to have my intellect stronger. These athletes, when they lose in these kind of Olympic, uh, during the Olympics, when they lose, they've got 4 years, before they come for the other next Olympics. They tell themselves, listen, we'll get stronger and come back. You want to win the gold medal next time. No, they lose this time, but they'll say, next time I'll get stronger and come back. Like that. You got to remind yourself every situation, I'll come back stronger. I'll beat. How do you come back stronger? Merely by the use of intellect. Use of intellect is what? Just applying yourself. You got to apply yourself. Aggressive, bad, aggressive, good. And the passive bad, they follow the aggressive bad. Passive good follow aggressive good. In the society, even today, you'll find the aggressive good are very rare. Very rare to find aggressive good. Aggressive bad you can find. You see that in the news and all that. Aggressively bad person. Passive bad you see, but passive good you see plenty. You will see passive good plenty. That's the advantage the aggressive good has. Is the aggressive good person has the following of passive good, and passive good are generally larger in number than passive bad. At least 2026. We don't know 2030. Huh? What will be the proportion? At least now we can say, okay, not bad. Uh, Passive good are still probably better, uh, slightly higher in number. It is the dynamics. This is the dynamic. So even in a household, it's a simple family, middle class family. If you were to take the way that family operates, is again based on the same thing. Whoever applies their intellect in the family will be the one who will be in charge of the family. Sometimes it's the husband, sometimes it's the wife, sometimes it's the children. Children, you have more intellect, they'll take over. They'll be driving. The What happens is because of attachment, you lose your intellect. You understand? Even the intellect that you have, 20-30% intellect, that you lose when you get attached. Like Dasharatha completely broke down. Is too attached to Rama. He completely broke down. His intellect, everything went. There's no chance. The moment that attachment comes, intellect goes out of the window completely. That's why sometimes parents feel weaker with the children because of that, because of attachment. Aggressive, bad person, again, going back to that original point, they use reason, they use the power of reason, but they don't have the right value systems. Their value systems is corrupt. In other words, the mind has got certain negative values, negative emotions, and the intellect does not resolve that negative emotion in the case of the aggressive bad person. But because of power of reasoning, they're able to keep the mind at bay. In the case of an aggressively good person, the value system is good. The mind and intellect are aligned as far as the values and reasoning are concerned. There is more harmony within that person. So, aggressively good person, there's more harmony within because both mind and intellect are aligned. In the aggressive bad person, the mind and intellect are not aligned. There's a constant friction internally. Another aspect is that aggressive bad person goes against his conscience. Your conscience points towards the self, and the actions of the aggressive bad is against the self. As a result, there's the conscience is pricking in the aggressive bad person's case. Aggressive good person's case, the conscience permits you. You're in line with the conscience. If you examine, you can't compare equally aggressive bad, aggressive good. It just appears, okay, aggressive bad, aggressive good is only bad and good are different. No, it's completely different. What's happening within is completely different. But just because the person is applying themselves using reason, they're able to get ahead. They're manipulating constantly. So that's why they have to be kept in check all the time. When you act against your conscience, there is that feeling of guilt that is manifested. It manifests as a feeling of guilt. And when you feel guilty constantly, it saps your confidence. Because the desire is so strong in the aggressive bad person, he disregards that guilt. I just want to do it. I don't care. But there is a person carries a lot of guilt, can't sleep properly, can't eat properly, has to get into things like drinks and drugs to neutralize agitation. You'll see that in the aggressive bad person's case, they have to resort to all these sensual indulgences. An aggressively good person doesn't need sensual indulgence. Why? When does a person need sensual indulgence? When the mind is agitated. If your mind is calm, you will feel stupid to indulge. Suppose I tell you, hey, come on, let's go binge drinking. We'll go to this pub, drink for 1 hour, then we'll go to the next pub, drink for 1 hour. Uh, say, what are you talking? What is this? So, rubbish, what do you guys want to do? Okay, you want to drink a little bit. What is this hopping from? No, that is the enjoyment. Come on, let's do that. Oh, gotta go. Isn't so? When you're calm, you feel stupid. What is it? What is that all about? The agitated mind needs perverted enjoyments. The more the mind is agitated, the more perverted enjoyments, sensual enjoyments it needs. Aggressive good person doesn't need, aggressive bad person needs. That's why they say baddies have more fun. Huh? Huh? Baddies always have more fun. They have better dialogues also in films, the baddies. More interesting characters, you know. Aggressive good person, nice and simple. The Rama was aggressive good. So was Krishna. In the case of Krishna, you find the aggressive goodness is more colorful. In Rama's case, it is less colorful. But both were aggressively good. Rama was also aggressively good. The personality differs. So the application of aggressive goodness varies depending upon your personality makeup. In fact, Christ was also aggressively good. He knew what he was doing. He just didn't do it blindly. He knew exactly what he was doing. He just appeared to be passive, but he was aggressive good. Right. In other words, in a situation, you could be silent and be aggressively good. Just be silent. Sometimes being silent will make you win over the person, win over the situation. Just keep quiet. So aggressive doesn't mean I've got to do something. I've got to set this right. I've got to. Then you're being passive. You're getting agitated. You're becoming anxious. Just relax. The more you're cool, the more you're calm, it means you're using the intellect better. It is unnerving when everybody is disturbed and you're calm. Huh? Everybody's rushing, rushing, rushing. And you're sat there calm. Everybody will get scared. Who's this guy? That silence is scary. If it's used correctly, silence is scary. What do you think? What do you think we should do? Mm, mm. No, no, no. Meaning, what do you think? Mm, mm. Don't say anything, they'll wonder what is this fellow thinking? What is he going to come up with? You don't know anything, but simply you're saying, See, the thing is when you're silent, people are unsure whether you know or you don't know. You understand? When you're silent, people are unsure whether you know or you don't know. When you speak, they become sure that you don't know. When you speak, you say, then you know this fellow is stupid. He doesn't know anything. That's why silence is always better option. Keep people guessing. Even among friends, if you're sat down and let's say all the friends are talking, this thing is different thing. You're just quiet, meaning you're just observing what they're saying. You're just quiet, observing, and each one gives their opinions and everything, and you're quiet. It'll be interesting. Somebody will ask, "Hey, what do you think? Why are you quiet? What do you think?" They'll ask. They won't ask the other person who's already talking. They'll ask the person who's quiet, "What do you think?" Nothing, nothing, nothing. I'm thinking. No, 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 no. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think. It's interesting, the psychology. Silence is golden. That's what I said. Often it is said, silence is golden. Aggressiveness, that is aggressive. Aggressiveness is the expression of it will vary. Sometimes you have to talk, sometimes you have to be quiet, sometimes you have to take action, sometimes you don't take action. You have a very flexible personality. An aggressive personality is that which is flexible. Passive person is stuck. They'll they can't be flexible. In our field, in the Vedantic, in our way of the institute, the way of work that we do, how we spread this knowledge, we have to be extremely flexible. When I when I had to start the charity, every single job I had to do. Now we have so many luxury of so many volunteers we have. Uh, Everything, all these volunteers job only I was doing. Whether it is accounts, whether it is replying to people's emails, whether it is website, whether it is every single thing. I couldn't say, oh, this is not my swadharma, this is not my nature. If I told that, nothing would have grown. What swadharma, what nature? This has to be done. Some or the other, we do it. A hook or crook, you learn, you do it. That's the more flexible you are, the better it'll be for your development. You'll grow better. No, no, this is not my job. No, that only you. Even today, I don't have that feeling this is not my job. Every job is my job. That's how I take it. Everything I get into it, I ask, I find out, I learn. Aggressiveness is that flexibility. Passive person is fixed. They can't change. A bit autistic. Passive person. They're fixed. They have a routine, the same routine. Slightly, they can't go away from that routine. Sense of proportion. You have to use that sense of proportion. Can you do this job? Yes. I'm not even to ask you what job it is. You understand? That is the right attitude. The right attitude is this has to be done. Yes. No, I've not told you what job. It doesn't matter. Yes, you tell me now what it is. Okay, this has to be. If you, that's the attitude. See, at work, if you have that attitude, that's how you'll grow at work also. Understand? Okay, this project has to be taken up. We'll take it up, and then what it involves, and that's how you grow. That's how you expand. You should be up for it. Anything, you should be up for it. Krishna, look at Krishna. He was up for anything. You understand? Anything and everything he was up for it. Whether it's a war, he was up for it. Whether it is playing with the gopis, the milkmaids, he was up for it. Any single war, fighting with the demons, he was up for it. I remember the academy when I was studying in the academy that one night, this was in the beginning of my course, so I would say probably 2003, 2004 maybe. I'm sorry, 92, 92, 93, 94 at that time, 92 I joined the course, so 93, 94. And I used to stay in the bungalow downstairs, the boys' room. I used to stay there. And then one night, got up to go to the toilet. Some white figure I saw outside. I thought, I went and washed my face literally, And then I went again, went in the distance. I thought, my God, seeing ghost, I'm seeing ghost, you know. Then I don't know what to do. Understand? Then there was one stick, one big stick. We had kept it in the room. I'm not joking. Really, we had one big stick in case anything. So then I picked up that big stick and went. I don't know what I was going to do with the big stick. You understand? But anyway, I took one big stick. I mean, then that white figure was Swamiji. You understand? He was wearing his kurta pajama. Somewhere in the 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock, midnight or something like that. Uh, then I said, "Yes, Swamiji." He said, what are you doing outside? I said, "No, Swamiji, I saw something, some figure, so I came." He said, "Yes, yes, no, no, go and sleep. It's okay." I said, "No, Swamiji, what is there anything I can do? You're outside." He said, "See, I have this habit of checking on the academy, you know. See, in those days, we didn't have any night watchmen and all that. I know hardly any workers we had. There was no gates to the academy, nothing. It was all almost like a forest it was. So Swami said, for the sake of security, so many students are there. I just want to make sure that things are secure. He says, sometimes I come down at night like that and check. Uh, He never told us he was doing that. But he used to wake up at 4 o'clock and come down with us for prayer and everything. He never told us that he was doing this. And we used to wonder, how does he get that energy to do it? You understand? See, that is that flexibility, it has to be done. Then after that, of course, the students, we took it up, and then we made like a rota. Even today, now you go the academy, the boys, obviously, you don't send the girls in the midnight. So boys, they have a schedule. One person will wake up at 11 o'clock and go for a round. Another person will wake up at 1 o'clock, go for a round. But they'll still be all up for the prayer in the morning. They'll all come like that. It's something, that flexibility, you bring in that flexibility. If something has to be done, it has to be done. When you are ready to do that, automatically others who are below you, they will follow you, because they see that example that you're setting. You take that initiative, then they will also follow that initiative. In that sense, if you analyze aggressive goodness, there's so many layers to it. Then, as I said, in terms of your spiritual development, if you're passive, then you follow your desires. You become a victim to your desires. Only when you're aggressively good, you can control those desires. You say, I am not going to follow you. You take a firm stance against your desires. You fight tamas. A passive person doesn't fight tamas, they go along with tamas. Aggressive good person fights the tamas. And now let's look at the questions, Laura. We've got Shanti's question. It is mentioned in the topic that the aggressively bad person uses his intellect to scheme and plan for his selfish motives. Aggressively bad person uses his intellect to scheme and plan for his selfish motives. As I said, there's no values. Values are still low values, poor values. That's why the person is selfish. Does the mind not have any role in these selfish actions, or the aggressively bad person? Of course, the mind has a role. When you say selfish, it is to do directly with the mind. The mind, ultimately, the person succumbs to the mind. The aggressively bad person succumbs to the mind. Because the person uses reason, he's able to keep the mind at bay. Other than that, the aggressive bad person also is a victim of his mind in that sense. One side is a victim of the mind, other side, he is controlling the mind. Value system side is a victim of the mind. Reason side is able to control the mind. That's why it's faulty reasoning. It's half-baked reasoning. It's not complete reasoning. If the reasoning is complete, then you will question your value systems itself. Why am I selfish? It's so stupid to be selfish. If you use your intellect and reasoning, you will question that absurdity of your selfish attitude. But the person is not able to apply that in that area. That's why the aggressive bad person secretly admires an aggressively good person. These uh, uh, unrighteous person, a wicked person, if you is interesting, they admire a person who is honest, who's got good values, who is straightforward. In fact, they're scared of a straightforward person. They're scared of a person with values. Like darkness is scared of light. It's like that, because darkness is has no place when there's light. Light comes, darkness goes. So darkness is scared of light. Similarly, a negative person is scared of a positive person. They have a lot of respect for somebody who's follows values, follows principles. You're able to see that, Shanti?
Yes, when you divide it into values and reasoning. Otherwise, it just, we say aggressive person works on his intellect and passive follows his mind. So then that's why there was that,
Mm.
where's the mind coming here?
Yes.
But yeah, when you put it as values, then it
Mm.
makes sense.
That's why I explained all that in the beginning. Then it becomes clearer to figure it out. Then the next question, the two questions in that group. Rick's question: with so many aggressively bad people in the world, how can the aggressively good overcome them? I've answered in bits. The number one, they have the support of the passive good people. Passive good are more in number than passive bad. Number two, they their actions go along with their conscience, the aggressive good person's actions. Aggressive bad goes against the conscience. So actions are better for the aggressive good person. Decisions are better for the aggressive good person. And that guilt feeling is not there. They're free from guilt, which is the same thing. Going if you go with your conscience, there's no guilt. If you go against the conscience, there's guilt. That's why Krishna was able to get the better of the Kauravas. The Krishna were aggressive good, Kauravas aggressively bad. He got the better of them. Pandavas were not able to get the better. Though they were good, they were not able to get better. Duryodhana, that fellow who's the head of the Kauravas, he was a brilliant fighter of the mace, the big mace. He used to fight that. He was very strong in that. So he wanted to fight against Bhima. Bhima was also a good fighter in that mace. So both took the mace and they want to fight. Now Duryodhana's mother, Gandhari, she had extraordinary power. She had tied her eyes. She put a cloth around her eyes. She couldn't see because her husband was blind. For that reason, she said, if my husband is blind, I also don't want to see. I'm respecting my husband. And she put a cloth around her eyes, for which she got the power that whenever she opened that cloth and whatever she saw will become immortal. She got the power that she can pass on that immortality. If she saw uh, a computer, the moment she opened her eyes and she saw computer, that computer will become immortal. Hmm? Or if she saw a pigeon, that pigeon will become immortal, whatever she saw. So Gandhari, the mother, called that son, Duryodhana, and said, Hey, Duryodhana, you're going to go and fight in the mace thing. If the mace hits you in the wrong places, you'll die. Huh? You come to me naked. I will open my eyes. The moment I see you, you'll become immortal. You understand? The moment you become immortal, you can fight, you'll win every battle. So she said that, you know. So he said, Fine, mom. So as he was walking towards mom, Krishna came and said, Hey, Duryodhana, are you a 5-year old? Huh? You're a 40-year old. You're going naked in front of your mother. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Huh? What is this you're doing? You have no sense of respect for your mother. Is this how you behave towards your mother? Stupid fellow you are. Duryodhana said, Krishna, you're right. Right. I'm sorry. So he covered his private parts with cloth, the cloth around. And he came and he said, Yes, mom, I've come. So she opened her eyes. Everything else became immortal except that private parts. So then Krishna went and told Duryodhana, Duryodhana, hit there, hit there. See, look at how this fellow is, Krishna is doing. Otherwise, there's no way they could have beaten that guy. He's a brilliant fighter. So then Duryodhana hit him there, gone. The fellow is gone. So stupid he was. If he had only come, he could have won the whole battle. See, you need to know how to use the intellect. You understand what argument you need to give, how to present it. Like that example in uh, Merchant of Venice. Merchant of Venice, you all know that example. Uh, Shylock, he asked that merchant to sign the bond that if you don't pay back that money, I'll take a pound of flesh from you. I think his name was Bassanio, this merchant. And he borrowed money from Shylock. His ship was coming. His ship was coming. It still had not come. The moment ship comes, he'll get all the money. But he needed some money for, I think, his daughter's marriage or something. So he went to Shylock and he said, Please give me some money. I'll pay you back in no time. Shylock said, Fine, I'll give you the money, but I want you to sign this bond that I can take a pound of flesh from you if you don't give the money in time. And that fellow thought it was a joke. He signed it. So never sign anything like that. Be careful. Anyway, so he signed a pound of flesh. And then the money didn't come because the news came that the ship had collapsed, had met with a storm, and the ship was gone. He said, "Oh my God, what's going to happen?" And Shylock took that bond to the court and said, "My lord, he signed the bond. I need to take the pound of flesh from him." The judge said, Yes, you're right, it's signed. Call that fellow. So they called that merchant of Venice, whom that thing is named after. That fellow came. He didn't know what to say. He said, Yes, you're right. I don't know what to do. Here, take the pound of flesh. Fortunately, he hired a lady. And in those days, women could not go to court. They can't be a lawyer in court. So she dressed up as a man. Portia, Portia, she dressed up as a man and she said, uh, yes, uh, he can take a pound of flesh. Definitely. That's what is written here. But 1 minute. He took the knife, he was about to cut. She said, No, 1 minute, 1 minute. Said, Yes. Only thing, make sure you don't spill a drop of blood. To which Sherlock said, What are you saying? How can I cut without a drop of blood? No, 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 but that's not there in the bond. The bond only says a pound of flesh, but not a drop of blood. So not even a drop of blood should come when you cut. You know. He said, How is it possible? How is it possible? And she got him, she really got him. Like they got Duryodhana in that place. She got this fellow correctly there, and the fellow was completely bowled over. Then the court took action against Shylock and said, listen, for such kind of treatment of the citizens, you will be banned. All your wealth will be seized. They took all the wealth away from him. They, he thought he was too smart. That's why you got to be careful. You may come across somebody who's that little bit smarter than you, and you're gone. That is aggressive goodness. That you need to present an argument at the right time, right place, right argument. Even Julius Caesar's wife had a dream, and that the whole city was going to be filled with blood, and she was scared that Caesar was going to the Senate, that something bad is going to happen. So in the morning, as soon as she woke up, she told her husband, Julius Caesar, Caesar, don't go to court, don't go to the Senate. I had a bad dream, I had a bad dream. And then the other conspirators also came, and to which Caesar said, see, my wife had this bad dream, I'm not coming to the Senate. Now, if he doesn't come to the Senate, they can't kill him. So one of them, they said, okay, that's fine, Caesar. I will go and tell the crowd that Caesar's wife had a bad dream. That's why Caesar is not coming. He knew where to prick Caesar's vanity. To which Caesar said, no, 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 no. Wife's dream, and I will not. I am a brave guy. Of course, I will come. He came and they killed him. He's a stupid fellow. He's a passive. The aggressive person works so they don't take rest. There's no rest for the wicked, isn't it? There's no rest for the wicked. They all that time they keep applying themselves, applying themselves, applying. Passive persons say, "Arey, leave it, man. Just relax. Leave it." The moment you leave it, that's when you're gone. They'll get the better of you. I was just telling somebody yesterday, they were saying they're going for walks. But I also went for a walk yesterday. Suddenly it struck me. And I told that person, when you go for a walk, take a glance back, glance backwards. Because you only see in front of you thing. Somebody can come from the back. Just take a glance. And even if somebody is there, they know that you're watching, and you'll turn back. They'll be a bit more circumspect in trying to do anything to you. And then now and then just turn back and take a look sometimes. I said, yes, yes, means you don't think I know what's going to happen to me. That's when something can happen to you. When you least expect is when danger can strike you. Sorry, one more question. Tony, does an aggressively bad person, it takes some time for Laura's screen shared. There. Does an aggressively bad person experience mental agitation? Won't he therefore in due course realize the error of his ways? Just because a person is agitated, Tony, doesn't mean they'll realize the error of the ways. Person could be agitated. It depends on how strong the desire is. If the desire is very strong, you don't care. Let me be agitated, but I will not stop. You know that the desire is so powerful. Unless the desire, what happens is through experience, the person will have to learn. They go through the experience, they suffer, then the desire comes down, then the person can think, yes, I need to change my ways. But it's not very easy. It's not so quick. The aggressive bad person gives up so easily. There won't be so many problems in the world. They don't give up easily. That is a problem.
Baskiji, there are stories.
Hmm. Hmm.
I tried to think of an example, but I couldn't actually. But there's in the Buddhist tradition,
Hmm.
there are kind of very, 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 very bad people
Hmm.
who suddenly transform.
Hmm.
Um,
Correct.
I forget. There's a saint in the Buddhist tradition. Is that something to do with because there was their intellect was operating quite strongly in an aggressively bad way? That once the light dawns, the switch kind of can be made quickly. Or
It depends on the personality makeup. What happens is one area you've got a very strong desire, and therefore you're resorting to certain wrong practices because of that. And it takes a while for you to get out of that one particular area, one strong area. Uh, and then suddenly you realize the wrong ways and you come out of it. In fact, it was even Valmiki, the author of the Ramayana. He was a highway robber who was supposed to have got enlightenment overnight. Uh, I think Angulimala, like that, quite a few characters like that who, so literally overnight they changed. Depends on the strength of the desire. It's too strong, it takes time. They give these stories to highlight the fact that it is possible to change. Even though you're so bad in such a pathetic condition, you can still change rapidly. They're just giving us an assurance that change can come at any time. Just keep on to it. Keep on to that effort. Okay, covered it. All right. Any other announcement? Anything